What is fascinating to me about this decision, though, is that the bubble as a concept applies just as much, if not more so, right now, given the trend of the pandemic. It's simply the case that the NBA and the NBPA are of the shared understanding that if there are games without fans this season, it's going to be like a 40% loss in basketball related income, which, yes, gets us to $500 million to $1 billion approximately. So everybody just wants the money. But I once interviewed Michelle Roberts, right? And the title of the interview was "The Woman Who Will Change Sports," because she was railing against salary caps and max contracts and everything else. She is not that. She is the person who is going to co-sign a big paycheck for the players, which, by the way, is kind of the job of the players' union chief in the end anyway.
I do think, though, that we sort of should think about, just in general, the word trust as it applies to this particular partnership, because the NBA, I remind you, was the league at the center of everything that was happening with the racial disharmony in this country, and they went back to that bubble and they went back to that money. You can say it's greedy, but I'm telling you, if this relationship was as distrustful as the one those employees in football have with Roger Goodell, where they're willing to rip him publicly and put their name on it, there is an enormous difference that you have between the commissioners in our major sports, between all of them, even Dana White, if you want to make that a major sport. It's a major difference, the difference between silver and the rest of them.
And also in how all of this is covered, right? Like, they're not going to play in a bubble, and we're assuming it'll all be fine, even though basically this NBA season is going to be similar to baseball and basketball. But we're like, I'm sure it'll work out in the NBA as football is dealing with the Niners game we just talked about. But because everyone inherently seems to trust, and by everyone I mean the media, seems to trust the NBA more, they're not really receiving the same degree of skepticism.